name is Chelsea and I'm an international model, and this is my very first YouTube. I don't know much about YouTube, but I'm like, I want to try this out. Funny story, it took me tons of tries just to find like the perfect place to start recording this video. Yeah, let's get started. So first I want to talk about why I chose to wear all black. So as a model, we are told to wear all black for digitals. And that's basically so that you can like show your natural side, your raw side. And I truly believe in showing your raw beauty and your authentic self. So for my first video of explaining how I got into modeling and how it all started, why not? I thought that this would be like the perfect time to wear all black, very little makeup, no earrings, so that you guys can see the natural side of Chelsea. So when I was like super little, I was maybe like maybe 7 or 8, and I just like had an interest in trying on my mom's heels, trying on her makeup. So I was one of those girly girls, like I like to try on wigs, like that was just like something I had fun with. I had fun with jewelry and fashion. So like at a young age, I started to like enjoy things like that. And I think my mom kind of like picked that up, and like even with people like around her, they'd be like, she could definitely be a model when she grows up. And you know, I think my mom took that into consideration, and she put me in this local agency that was located here in Durham. It was just like a small agency, and I remember that they had an audition, and my mom was like, okay, I have to get her in this. So I was so scared, but I was so excited because it was an opportunity for me as a young girl to be able to, you know, like show off my skills. And I remember doing the audition, and I just had to walk. So I had to do a runway walk, and I was like so nervous, but it all worked out because they loved me and they signed me. So that was a really great experience while I was young. And what I also loved was they made it fun for us. So it wasn't like anything like super serious, but like it was just fun. It was just a way for us to like do model walks and have runway shows and like be able to dress up and feel pretty. So it was like a way to like build up, you know, young people's confidence. And I really appreciate them creating that agency and creating that safe space for young kids, because I feel like it's so needed. And you know, as I think back to those years, like that was like truly the start of building up my confidence as a young girl, and that like really helped start the beginning of who I am now and in my career as a model. So I'm very appreciative to you guys. I have a friend that I met in high school, and he was like a big help to my start in my modeling career. His name is Emmanuel Taylor, so shout out to you, Emmanuel. Thank you for helping me through this journey, because without you, I also could not have made it as far as I've made it. And I would say support and the people in your life throughout the modeling journey is so helpful, because support is everything in this industry. So when I was in high school, that's how I met him. He was a photographer, and he did projects for his art class, and he used me as his model. So I was very appreciative for that. Like, he had the vision. He was a creative. Like, he knew about the fashion industry, because I didn't know anything about it, but like he had the eye for it, because like he knew it. And he would put together these editorial shoots, and he would style them and everything. Like, he wore a lot of hats. Emmanuel is talented and still is, and I just remember like having so much fun in those shoots, and him just encouraging me and saying, this is what you're supposed to be doing, like you are a model. And I was like, wow, like that really did something to my confidence, and that really like opened my eyes to like, okay, I need to be considering doing this as a career, because when I was a little girl, it was just for fun, but I don't think I ever like thought about like turning it into a career. But when I met Emmanuel in high school and I did those test shoots with him, it really opened my eyes, and it really made me think, okay, this is something that I can really do as a career. You know, growing up, like I would hear it so much, like, you're a model, you're a model, you're a model. And it's like when you constantly hear something like that, you know, it kind of does something to you, and it kind of like gives you that sign, like, okay, this is something that I need to pursue. This is something that, you know, it's probably what I'm supposed to be doing. And, you know, it turned out to be that way. Even when I was in high school, I remember writing the sticky note, and I wrote on it, I am going to be the next Tyra Banks when I grow up. So I've always been a dreamer, always. So after doing those test shoots with him, he knew a connection, and then the person I met knew a connection. Connections are so important in the industry. Like, when you know people, so helpful. So he actually connected me with my mother agent, Alva Page, and I met him. And then when I met him, I met someone that he was connected to that did shows in Let me go to the backstory before I tell you how I met Alva. So, after doing the shoots, yeah, so when I was shooting with Emmanuel, I remember there was one shoot that we did, and it was like a farm setting. It was really fun, and I remember having this conversation with Emmanuel. He was like, I have someone I can connect you with, and he was like, he's a runway coach, he trains models. And I'm like, oh my goodness, who is this? Because, like, you know, growing up in a small town, you hear about someone big, you get so excited because you're like, you know, this is also new to me. So, like, I was just so excited. I was like, I have to meet this Alva Page. And then so my friend gave me his contact information, and I remember reaching out, but I can't remember. I don't think I was able to get in contact with him because, you know, he's a runway coach. So, like, he was always busy, of course. Alva, if you're watching this, you see this. But yeah, he was busy. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Because one day, my godmom, she was like, okay, she was telling me how she heard a casting for a show that was happening in Raleigh. It was the Women's Empowerment. So they were having a casting, and my godmom was like, you have to go. Like, I heard this on the radio, you have to go. I can definitely see you doing that. And I thank you, godmommy, for mentioning that, because, like, I did not hear about this show. I didn't know what the Women's Empowerment was. So when I heard that they were having a casting for this show, I was like, okay, this will, like, be a great opportunity for me to get exposure, for me to show off my skills. You know, modeling is something I want to do. I have to build up my resume. I have to do shows. I have to have experience. So that's what I did. I did local shows here so that I could build up my experience. So I went to the casting, and guess who was there? Alva Page. I was like, no way. Like, I was just like saying this in my head because I was like, everything happens for a reason, because I never would have thought I would have met him there. And I'm like, oh, this is the guy that Emmanuel was telling me about. So I see him there, and I'm with someone else because, like, my sister brings me, and she connects me with him because I think she knew him before me, but she connects me with him. So after that, this is how I get his contact, and I do the casting for the show, and I make the show. I made the audition, so woo, yay to that. And then later on, after the casting, I get connected with Alva Page, and he starts to become my agent. So it's just like, you always have to be in the right time. You always have to be in the right place at the right time, because you just never know who you can meet and how that will help you towards your journey. And it's crazy because my journey has just been like straight paved for me. And it's like everything literally happened the way it was supposed to happen for me to get to where I am now. Like, I started off with a small agency as a little girl to build up my confidence. And then I connected with a high school friend that had connections. And then I met the connection of someone that helped build up my walk, build up my my confidence in posing and anything else I needed to learn before getting into the modeling agency industry. And then I met someone that was good with production, good with showing how to run shows and stuff. So them giving me a chance to be in their show so that I can build up my confidence. You get where I'm coming from? Like, it's literally step by step by step by step to lead me to where I was supposed to go. So I'm definitely so grateful for my journey. And the Women's Empowerment Show was like huge, big audience. Backstage, I remember backstage, like I got my hair done and my makeup done. I wore this couture dress for this designer. And again, another way, right place, right time. I met this couture designer and I wore his dress for the Women's Empowerment Show, and it was just so beautiful on me, and he saw it on me and he was like, okay, I need her in my show. So I was also able to walk in shows for him in Atlanta through the two connections that I met through Emmanuel. So it's like, then I started traveling to Atlanta on the weekends with my mom, my godmom, and my aunt, and I would go do shows over there. So that was just like also more exposure and more opportunity for me to build up my confidence and to perfect my runway walk. And you know, now to think about it, my life has like, it has really set me up to succeed. It's really set me up to succeed in this career, and I'm just so grateful just for the whole journey. And then after Atlanta, I through Alva, which was my mother agent and my coach, my model coach, he knew a connection in New York. And once I met that connection that he knew in New York, I went to British Virgin Islands for my first time, my first out of the country trip. I went there and I was able to walk for multiple designers, and I was able to visit a place I'd never been to, have exposure, build up my confidence, build up my walk, you know, meet other people. So it was kind of putting me in that atmosphere that's similar to the modeling industry. So yeah, like all the shows that I did really helped to build me up to become a runway model. Yeah, and then after that, after I did British Virgin Islands, we were like, okay, like I built up my experience, I built up my confidence enough to be confident in my walk, and you know, building all that up. So it put me in that environment that I feel like I needed, that was like similar to the modeling industry, because I had to learn how to network with people. I had to learn how to communicate with people, because even before like I started modeling, I was always so shy. So like this was also great to help get me out of my shell, because like I was forced to talk with people. I was forced to put myself out there. I was forced to having to become more comfortable in my walk in front of like a different crowd. I was able to learn how to communicate with designers and makeup artists and hairstylists. So it was like I was in that atmosphere that I needed to be in, and I feel like now the more adult, mature me kind of understands it, but the younger me kind of didn't realize like this environment is so important for your growth as a model. But now that I look back at it, I'm like, I was able to learn how to communicate with other models, designers, hairstylists, makeup artists, the people backstage, the directors, and like all that is so important, because if you don't know how to make yourself known, you don't know how to communicate, if you don't know how to walk into a room with confidence, it's going to be very hard to be able to fit into the modeling industry. And I feel like I was put in those situations for a reason, to get me out of my shell, to get me out of my shyness, to get me more comfortable in that kind of atmosphere, in that environment. So it was kind of like a trial for me. It was like kindergarten for me, but it was so helpful that I was in like that kindergarten setting, you know, that elementary setting, before I was able to make it to college in this industry, if that makes sense. So yeah, I was very appreciative that I got the opportunity to go to the British Virgin Islands for every other summer, and I was able to be in the shows like that. That really helped me a lot. The couture shows helped me a lot, because I was able to learn how to walk in the long dresses the right way. And the island shows helped, because I was able to walk in swimwear. I was able to walk in elegant dresses. I was able to walk in different outfits from different designers. So it was like a different vibe for each one. So it kind of gave me experience of how to walk in different garments. So like just that whole journey with being in runway shows helped me a lot. I feel like runway was always my strength as a model. Posing kind of took me a few years to get comfortable in it and really good at it. But runway was always something that came natural to me. But that's okay, because it's like, as a model, you'll find your niche and you'll find what you do best at. And the more you practice, the better you get. I've definitely learned that as well. So yeah, and then after I did the shows and I got the experiences, I would meet with my agent like once a week, and he would teach me how to walk. He would still help me perfect my walk. He would teach me how to pose. He would teach me what I needed to know before I went into the industry. And I think it's very important to have a model coach or someone that is aware of the industry and know about the industry, because that really helps you. I mean, if you don't, it's not the end of the world, but it's more helpful because you don't go in blindsided. And it's like, it helps you get ahead of the game, and it helps you to become a better model, you know? So it was definitely so helpful to have that guidance in that industry, because there's a lot to the industry that you won't know unless you know someone that knows about the industry. So trust me, it helps. So yeah, that was really good. What else was I gonna touch on? Let's see, you guys. Yes. After that, so we would meet once a week, and after once a week, we were like, okay. He was like, I think you're ready, so let's just go to New York. So after I graduated from high school, I was like, okay, this is something that I have made up in my mind that I'm gonna do. And I'm not gonna go to school like my other peers are doing, because I could have just went to college, but I'm like, okay, I don't want to go to college. Like, I'm not ready to go to college right out of high school. And I'm so grateful that my parents were supportive of me, and that they were like, okay, we believe in you and we believe in your dreams, so you can do it. And they were like, okay, you don't have to go straight into school. And then my senior year of high school, after I graduated, I just knew that I did not want to go straight into college. And I'm grateful because I had parents that were very supportive of it, and they didn't pressure me to go to college, because like, I already knew that modeling was something that I wanted to pursue at this point. You know, everything I'm putting into it, you know, through the shows, the training, I'm like, okay, this is something that I can turn into a career. And having Emmanuel helps a lot, because he's like, I'm moving to New York, I'm going to school there. So with him being in New York also helped open up other doors for me, because like, he had a friend that was with an agency, so he was able to connect me to agencies over there. So like, having those connections helped a lot. So yeah, after I graduated from high school, me and my agent discussed taking a trip to New York, and taking, you know, a trip and setting up meetings with agencies, and seeing which agencies had like open calls or agencies that we could get appointments with. So when you get an appointment with the agency, it's like basically like an interview. And so we did that. We did multiple agencies, and I went and I did it. And you know, the first time going to New York to meet with agencies was like a great experience. But for my first time visiting with them, I got a lot of good feedback. They were like, she could definitely make it in the industry, but she needs to clear her face. She needs to lose some weight on her hips. And then, you know, come back and see us again. And, you know, basically they were saying, we might sign you, but go back and work on your skin and your body, then try again. And in that moment, I could have been like, okay, I'm done with this, but I am a very determined person. So I'm like, okay, this is motivation. I'm gonna go back to derm, and I'm gonna take 1 year to work on my body and my skin. And that's exactly what I did. It took me 1 year to work on my skin and my body. I went to the dermatologist, and they put me on a prescription to help clear my skin. And I would work out every day, and I just completely changed my diet to healthy eating. And I got a trainer here too, and I got down on my hips and my skin cleared up. The time I went back to New York with my agent, I did the same thing. We set up meetings with the agencies, and I got one offer. And that one offer was with the biggest agency in New York City, and it was called Elite New York. They were one of the top known agencies in New York, and I was just so shocked and just so happy. Like, the booker that I met there was like, oh my gosh, you are gorgeous. Like, you are a moneymaker. Like, I remember him telling me that you are a moneymaker. You are a high fashion model. And right then and there, I was like, okay, this is the agency I'm supposed to be with, because like right then and there, when I came in there, like he had big energy for me. Like, he already had a vision for me. Like, he knew, he was very confident that I could make it in the industry. And if you have a booker that's just like high energy on you and has a vision for you, that's a good sign, because you don't want an agent that doesn't know the vision they have for you. Because then they won't know how to promote you. And modeling is a business. So the goal is to get you work and to get you with clients. So he had a vision for me. So yeah, that worked out. Like, I put in the work, and then I was able to sign with a huge agency. So I was super excited about that, and that was the start to my career as a model. I want to share more with you guys, but I don't want to give you too much in one video. Subscribe to my channel. Comment, say hello. I will say hello back, and just follow me through this journey to learn more about me. I truly enjoyed sharing my story with you guys, so stay tuned for more, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.